So, why am I telling you this? Because some of you watching this are exactly where Jack was. You think you're being a saint, but you're actually just being a victim. Listen closely. The world does not reward those who sacrifice their soul to keep others comfortable. You must learn to build a wall around your time and your energy. You must learn that no is a complete sentence. You must realize that you are not responsible for the happiness of people who wouldn't lift a finger for yours. Be kind, be compassionate, but never, ever let your kindness be a replacement for your spine. Be the lighthouse, not the wick that burns itself out to give a few minutes of light. Stand tall, set your boundaries, and remember, those who get angry when you set a boundary are the ones who were profiting from you having none. Don't burn out for people who won't even buy the matches. Subscribe to reclaim your power.
The danger of boundless kindness and the resurrection of self-respect. They lied to you. From the moment you were old enough to understand words, they fed you a fairy tale. They told you that if you were kind, the world would be kind back. They told you that being good meant saying yes to everyone, carrying every burden, and putting yourself last. But look at your life. Are you happy, or are you just exhausted? We've been taught that self-sacrifice is the ultimate virtue, but in the real world, kindness without boundaries isn't a superpower. It's a slow-acting poison. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of a man who gave until there was nothing left, and the brutal lesson he had to learn to finally start living. Let's call him Jack. Jack was the person everyone loved. Need a ride to the airport at 3 a.m.? Call Jack. Need a loan that you probably won't pay back? Jack's your man. Jack lived by a silent code. If I am useful, I am worthy. He mistook being needed for being loved. In his office, he was the fixer. His boss knew that if a project was failing, he could dump it on Jack's desk at 5 p.m. on a Friday. Jack would stay until midnight, fueled by lukewarm coffee, in the desperate hope for a thank you that rarely came. He was the nice guy, but underneath the smile, Jack was drowning. His own dreams, the business he wanted to start, the book he wanted to write, were gathering dust in the basement of his mind. He was so busy building other people's houses that his own roof was leaking. The breaking point didn't come with a bang. It came with a whisper of clarity. It was a Tuesday. Jack's mother was ill, and he needed just one person to cover his shift so he could take her to the hospital. He called 10 people. 10 people whose lives he had made easier. 10 people who owed him 1,000 favors. The responses? I'd love to, Jack, but I have gym class. Sorry, man, I'm just so stressed right now. Can't you just do it tomorrow? For the first time in his life, Jack saw the world for what it truly was. He wasn't surrounded by friends. He was surrounded by consumers, people who didn't value him. They only valued what they could extract from him. He realized a terrifying truth. When you are a doormat, you shouldn't be surprised when people step on you. That is, after all, what doormats are for. That night, Jack didn't cry. He felt something much more powerful, a cold, sharp anger. He realized that his kindness wasn't actually kindness, it was a form of manipulation. He was being nice because he was afraid of being disliked. He was being good because he was too weak to be dangerous. True virtue isn't about being unable to say no. True virtue is having the power to say no and choosing when to use it. He looked at his reflection and realized he had been a coward. He had betrayed the most important person in his life, himself. He had allowed others to steal his time, the only currency that never gets refunded. He decided right then the old Jack was dead, and the new Jack, he was going to be someone people might not like, but they would damn sure respect. The next month was a bloodbath.
When Jack started saying no, the parasites screamed. They called him selfish. They told him he'd changed. His boss tried to intimidate him, but Jack just stared back with eyes that no longer sought approval. He stopped answering the phone at midnight. He stopped apologizing for things that weren't his fault. And a strange thing happened. The people who only wanted him for his utility vanished, but the few who actually valued him, they stayed, and they started treating him with a weight, a gravity he had never felt before. He wasn't a convenience anymore. He was a man with a perimeter, a man with a price.